Hello, hello, and welcome back to My GF Makes Me Read Homestuck with My GF.
Hello, I'm here.
And we've got an upgrade to production value, courtesy of Arm. Yay!
Yeah.
And we got a little overlay. We got a little overlay now. Yay!
Because I really hated the photo image thing. It's hidden now.
So when we left off, Dream Jade had died. Dream John had woken up and gotten a fucking wild ass rabbit thing that's now going to fight Jack Noir. Jack Noir, right? This is Jack Noir.
Yeah, that's Jack Noir.
Hours in the future.
A regulator becomes a renegade.
Hmm.
Oh, look, there's a little grandpa icon on the box.
Oh, yep. It's his caution tape. Oh yeah, look, he's where the island should be.
Yeah, right, with the froggy.
The recent past is recalled. I really want to see a chronological breakdown of this series. It's so fucking confusing sometimes.
Yeah, kind of esoterical.
A temple is fled and soon revisited. Yay, we got a new, courtesy of Arm, new wonderful layout. So now
Yes.
whenever we have whenever we got text on stream, I'll copy the image at the top. God, stop. Why does it keep snapping me? Stop. What it? There we go. I'll copy the image over to here so that we can have the text over here.
Yes.
A nearby laboratory is revisited. Its satellites dispatched. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Did I not tell you to move on?
No, you're reading the narrator now, which was like, huh, look at that.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. That's your job. So I'm looking at the moon with the lab on it.
Yeah, I'm too.
Equals greater than? Oh my
A
God.
sleeping boy is found, rumbling, ominous.
There's something very funny about him just getting jabbed in the head. Equals greater than.
The lab is in flight. It exits. Inoperative.
Equals greater than. Oh my
Another
God.
public servant makes a sacrifice. Citizen safety secured.
Are the black characters really evil? Like, they just saved John.
I don't know, is every black character evil?
Well, you put it that way. Equals greater than.
Tyrant is retreating. A battleship landing.
Equals greater than. Oh. Oh. Equals greater than.
Oh,
Equals greater than.
a grandfather mourns. A family tradition honored. Oh no, we made her into a puppet.
That's uncomfortable. Equals greater than.
A queen mourns. A kingdom bid farewell.
Hours in the future.
Her journey through the windswept must be walking alone. Her entourage bid farewell. A queen becomes a questant.
And then years.
Egg. The sleeping egg.
Egg. Equals greater than. Ooh.
A key is employed.
Equals greater than.
A command station repaired.
Equals greater than. Mommy, equals greater than. Equals
The
greater than.
gang's all here.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, people wanted to know what dates we record on. This session, it's the 18th of August.
I mean, you can just write it into this video description.
Oh, whatever. Then it would take too much effort. Because that would require me to remember, like, a week down the road when I'm editing what day we recorded this on.
Doesn't the video say when it was recorded on your browser?
Not if I rename it.
Oh well. Metadata, but okay.
Oh, equals greater than.
Oh!
Oh. What does that Morse code say?
Long, long, dot, 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 long, 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 dot, long, long.
Yeah,
That's wrong.
now I really want to bring out a fucking, hang on, Morse code translator.
Oh my goodness. Probably not even important. I say probably, it's not even.
Everything is important. This is Homestuck.
I want to bet this says, oh my.
Everything is important. This is Homestuck.
And what is the result?
Hang on, I'm still finding a translator. Don't rush me.
Bum, bum, ba, da, 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 da.
Oh my.
I was right. I didn't even have to have the fucking translator.
Arm can read Morse code confirmed. Equals greater than.
You want to know how I did it?
Wizardry.
I knew that I knew SOS. I knew an O, and the rest I could figure.
Equals greater than. Equals greater than. God, that fucking rabbit is ridiculous but badass. Equals greater than.
There's another cloud.
Equals greater than.
And inside, a dark laboratory, unused for years.
Equals greater than.
And inside, a fourth wall, pilfered from a
shit.
bureaucrat
Fuck. Don't worry.
office. And absconded with years ago. It isn't turned on. But if it was, this is almost certainly what we would see.
A fourth wall. God, they're called the fourth wall. The thing that we view them through is the fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking stupid and awesome. And I think back to way back at the end of, I think, Act 1 when we had Hussey where it drifted in through his window and then out through his window and this looks like a window pane. Why is this so fucking well written? It's fucking Homestuck.
And you keep saying it isn't a masterpiece like Huckleberry Finn and the likes. I want to disagree. It's great. It's amazing.
But it's
Definitely
also fucking stupid.
Oh, it's great. Stupid.
Recap 2.
Oh. Oh god. Oh god. Are we sure about this one, Chief?
Why would
Do
we
need
not be
to read
sure?
this? Oh god, it is lengthy. Alright, alright.
Enjoy. The whole series is about reading.
Honestly,
and real quick, honestly, I feel like I need this.
Yeah, alright. Picking up from where we left off, I tapped a really long recap. Then some other stuff happened. GC, Gallows Calibrator, helped John fly to the second gate, which took him to Rose's world, Lola. He crashed into Rose's room, where he found her asleep. He snooped through her room, and Dave tricked him into giving him the code to duplicate Rose's writing journals. John opened the package Rose made for his birthday. It contained the bunny from Conair, the same one John got from Dave, but older and dirtier, and modified with Rose's knitting. She'd had the bunny since she was very young. John leaves Casey, the salamander, Bubbles Wickeroy von Salamancer, in the room. He briefly speaks with GA, Grim Auxiliatrix, from Rose's computer, and pretends to be Rose. She believes he is, triggering a convoluted series of conversations between her and the real Rose in both the past and the future in no particular order. GA gets help with her computer from TA, Twin Armageddons, in time to see Rose at her computer having woken up. Before she woke up, Dream Rose was awake on Durce's moon. She now had memories from her future self as Doom, alternate reality. She flew to Dream Dave's tower and got his attention with a ball of yarn, causing real Dave to fall asleep. They had a dream dance party. Dream Rose threw Dream Cal out the window. Bro's rocket board caught Dream Cal. AR followed the board and Cal to a transportalizer on Durce, which led to a meteor lab in the Vale. Meanwhile, on Lolar, Rose's mom defeated a huge monster. The pony, Maplehoof, followed her and collected the grist windfall. Both mom and the pony then transported to the meteor's lab. John's dad found a clean hat John had deposited into a porcelain pyxis. Dad followed Jade's grandpa, who was carrying John's Sassacre book, into some ruins. They both transported to the meteor lab too. Meanwhile, John used the grist collected by the pony to make a normal-sized version of the giant hammer. Fear no anvil, which Dave Sprite gave him the code for. Dreamrose saw John on Dream Dave's computer and woke up. She went out to see him, but he had already blasted off. He took the mutant kitten, Vodka Mutini, Dr. Meowgen Sprengler, with him. John found the ruins that Mom and the pony went into. He went in and killed some powerful monsters with his new hammer. He transported to the meteor lab as well. In the lab, he found no one except the pony. Some other stray items were on the floor. Dad's dirty hat, the Sassacre book, Dream Cow. He found some apparatus and used to genetically engineer foot soldiers and agents for the White and Black armies from the chess piece DNA. He also found a junior ectobiologist lab suit and a series of terminals, much like those the exiles would find in the far future. He would use this apparatus to create paradox clones of himself, his friends, and their guardians. Meanwhile, AR served Bro's rocket board to a different meteor containing the Frog Temple that would later root itself near Jade's Island. Inside, he found the same time capsule she would find later. He also found some more lab equipment used for ectobiology. This equipment would soon be used to create Becquerel, a mutated combination of the genes from an ordinary dog in the early 20th century and a DNA code in one of Rose's journals. AR hides in the lab when he hears one of Jack's henchmen, the Draconian dignitary. DD is carrying Rose's duplicated journals, which he stole from Dave, and Dave's beta, which was used as a bookmark. He discards the beta into the time capsule. Millions of years later, from the capsule's perspective, Jade would retrieve the beta and use it to connect with Dave, allowing him to enter the medium. Dave created the journal duplicates after an extensive alchemy binge. Rose, too, had a similar alchemy session, and both kids upgraded their weapons and gear.
Low-key getting badass.
Oh yeah. Rose made a pair of needle wands, crossed with her grimoire, and took up the art of dark magic. She used this magic to burn her journal, thus destroying the genetic code. She was advised to do so by the gods of the furthest ring, who she was now able to communicate with in her dreams. The gods live far beyond the veil and advise the children of the moon of Durs, and serve as the counterpart to the role Skya plays for the children of Prospect's moon. They deem the code, which would inevitably be used to create Becquerel, to be dangerous. Dave decided to destroy his copy too, but when he went back to his room, he discovered they were stolen. He also found his own dead body, which apparently was him from the very near future, attempting to go back in time to stop the thief. DD. Dave decided not to attempt any more time travel and disposed of the body. GC, Gallows Calibrator, discussed the matter with him and pledged to help him by telling him his future along the way, so that he would not have to face the death of more future selves or suffer the sort of embarrassment he went through while entering the medium. Previously unseen, the way Dave entered the medium was as follows. As the large meteor was bearing down to the city, Dave climbed the radio tower on top of his building with his broken sword in hand and reached the nest built by the Crow Sprite. The sprite guarded the egg, which, unknown to Dave, simply needed time to hatch before he could enter. The sprite pecked his head and he fell. He was saved by Bro's rocket board. Meanwhile, Bro was on top of the meteor, riding it as it descended. He used his sword to chop it in half, splitting it in two pieces, diverting the initial impact from their building to two separate impact sites. He thus bought a little more time for the egg to hatch, which it did, just before the location was consumed by the blasts. On Prospect's moon, PM prepared to depart for the battlefield at the center of Skya to seek the king's counsel and what to do with the queen's ring. She was tailed by another of Nor's lackeys, the courtyard droll. CD picked her pocket and stole the ring. PM departed via shuttle to Skya. Dream Jade then clobbered CD and recovered the ring. She tried it on, but its power has no effect on humans. Later, CD would travel to the battlefield and continue tailing PM. The battlefield is a planet at the center of Skya. It undergoes a transformation with each player that enters the medium and each new prototyped kernel introduced. It starts as a simple 3x3 chessboard with 2 kings in perpetual stalemate, and expands to a larger board and more exotic collection of pieces with the first player entering. Then it became a much larger cube with the second player, and then an even larger sphere with oceans, trees, mountains, and pastures with the third. It presumably will transform again with the fourth.
God, how complex must it have been when there was 12 players for the fucking trolls?
Oh, yeah.
Fourth dimensional Skya.
The armies of the Black and White Kingdoms duel there. Soldiers are airlifted from meteor facilities in the Vale to supply the manpower. Enormous mutants, chess-like monsters stalk the landscape. The 2 kings command their armies from the field. They each have a scepter that serves a similar purpose to the queen's rings. When activated, a scepter causes a ring to be a giant and bear the properties of all the prototypings. A king is able to deactivate a scepter to hand it off to another so that they will not be affected in that way. When the Black King captures the White King's scepter, the reckoning begins. The reckoning sends all the meteors in the Vale towards Skya in stages. First the smaller ones, then gradually the bigger ones over a 24-hour period. There was a war-weary villain on the battlefield who was a simple farmer and was tired of the conflict. Oh god.
Wayward
WV.
Vagabond.
Yeah. United a band of soldiers from both armies to lead a rebellion against the Black King. Before they could attack the king, Jack Noir, now empowered by the Black Queen's ring...
WV, wary villain, wayward vagabond. Sorry, that clicked, that's very cool.
All good. He destroyed the king's scepter and killed the king. Jack then killed the entire rebellion army, sparing only wayward vagabond. Perhaps to leave a survivor to tell the story, or perhaps out of respect for a fellow mutineer. Only he knows. Meanwhile, PM met with the White King. He disabled his scepter and gave it to her along with his crown. PM now had the crown of the White King and Queen and the White Scepter, but discovered she had misplaced the White Queen's ring. Jack's muscle, the hegemonious brute, had been tailing the White King. HB then followed PM and attacked her. She dropped the scepter off a cliff. She would regroup and chop off HB's head with the Regisword Jack gave her to kill the White Monarchs. CD, who had been tailing both of them, recovered the White Scepter and delivered it to Jack. Jack used it to initiate the reckoning, and would proceed to go on a more extensive rampage, devastating the battlefield and Prospect. Back in the Meteor Lab, John began the actor biology session, which appeared to have been prepared for him in advance by the Guardians who had just been there. The 4 monitors were all locked onto the kids' Guardians at certain points in time, each on the day of one of the kids' birth. On Jade's birthday, Nana was locked onto in John's neighborhood by the Betty Crocker factory. Meteor-carrying babe Jade crashed into the factory and destroyed it. Her grandpa, the owner of that factory, would adopt her. John's dad witnessed and would spend years investigating. On Dave's birthday, Grandpa was locked onto while he was on his yacht, pioneering the island for the first time. He was sailing with baby Jade. Overhead there was the meteor carrying baby Dave, which would crash into Bro's favorite record shop. On Rose's birthday, Bro was locked onto as he stood over the crater where he would find baby Dave. He would give him a tiny pair of pointy shades. Overhead there was a meteor carrying baby Rose, which would land in a lake and destroy it. Rose's mom would retrieve and adopt her. Months later, on John's birthday, Mom would bring Rose to John's neighborhood to investigate the destruction of Grandpa's factory and related stellar phenomena. The target was locked on her. Dad came out the family joke shop to greet her, leaving Nana inside. The meteor carrying baby John destroyed the shop, killing Nana. Dad would adopt John, and Rose's mom disappeared. Dad retrieved her scarf and filed the clue away for his ongoing investigation. John attempted, unwittingly, to purify all 4 guardians, but since removing them from these moments would have caused a paradox, he instead paradoxified their ghost slime imprints. The slime was collected into 2 pairs of containers. One pair collected Nana and Grandpa's slime, the other pair collected Mom and Bro's. The device then created baby paradox clones of the 4 guardians. These babies would then later be sent back in time to become those guardians themselves. Once those 4 clones were created, another sequence activated. The 2 pairs of slime tubes emptied into vats below. The Nana-Grandpa slime mixed together, and separately, the Mom-Bro slime mixed together as well. An additional 4 paradox clones were created from those 2 slime concoctions.
So, Nana and Grandpa created 2 of the characters, and Mom and Bro created 2 of the characters. Okay. That's the thing that had fucking gotten fucky in my head, and hearing it written out here is making it make sense.
Mm-hmm. Hang on, I need to do something. Ouch.
So...
Alright.
Who did Nana and Grandpa create? And who did Mom and Bro create? Mom and Bro would have created Dave and Rose, right?
I think so.
And Nana and Grandpa created Jade and John?
Yeah, that's what
so
I understand.
Jade and John are brother and sister, and Dave and Rose are brother and sister, in a sense.
Theory, yeah.
So it would be weird to ship those characters together. Because they're clones of the same people. I feel like the ship that you should go for, then, at that point, is John with Rose and Dave with Jade.
Nah, listen.
Because otherwise there's clone-cest.
I don't bring clone-cest into this. I don't care. I don't...
Okay, I'm just saying, that's where my ship goes to avoid clone-cest.
Oh, clone-cest is... clone-cest.
I mean, is it wrong to have sex with your clone? It's just masturbation.
Anyway, where was I? I lost my line. Right.
Is it wrong for the clones from Star Wars to have a big old gay gangbang? Morally, I'd say maybe. I don't fucking know. That's up to the fanfic writer to interpret.
Oh, okay, I found my line. Are you good to go?
Yeah.
I lied. I lost my line again.
Look for the Nana/Grandpa and Mom/Bro.
Found it. All 8 babies would each ride their own meteors, launched from the Veil after Jack started the Reckoning, and into the defense portal deployed by Skya to protect itself. The defense portals each led to Earth, as Skya defends itself in a way by sacrificing Earth. While most meteors are sent to the time period when the kids begin the game, many lead to a number of different time periods. Some 13 years prior to the game, used by the kids. Some nearly a century prior, used by Nana and Grandpa.
Wait, sorry, repeat that part? This is very helpful for me.
All 8 babies would each ride their own meteors, launched from the Veil after Jack started the Reckoning, and into the defense portals deployed by Skya to protect itself. The defense portals each lead to Earth, as Skya defends itself in a way by sacrificing Earth. While most meteors are sent to the time period when the kids begin the game, many lead to a number of different time periods. Some 13 years prior to the game, used by the kids. Some nearly a century prior, used by Nana and Grandpa. Some millions of years ago, used eventually by the Frog Temple meteor. And some to the far future, used by the Exiles. And all 8 of them would travel with an object or animal. John with his Sassacre book, which would become the much older-looking family heirloom stored in Dad's safe, with Nana Sprite's inscription to John on it. Rose with the dirty bunny Dave gave John for his birthday. Dave with the pony Maplehoof. Jade with the knit-repaired bunny Rose got John for his birthday, which Rose cherished since birth. Nana with Dad's dirty hat. Mom with Mutiny, Meowgan, Grandpa with 2 flintlock pistols which older Grandpa left behind for him in the lab, which would eventually both wind up in Jade's room, and Bro with Dream Cal, which would later be fitted with a new personalized shirt and would become Real Cal, the same doll that would haunt Dave's waking life and consequently his dreams. All of these babies and their items would automatically be transported to their own meteors at the onset of the reckoning. John made absolutely sure to give Baby Rose and Jade their bunnies when he saw an opportunity to reenact a scene from one of his favorite movies, much to the dismay of watching CG, carcinogeneticist.
Hmm.
While AR was in the Frog Temple lab, he would see more of a young Nana and Grandpa story. On 4/13/1910, exactly 99 years prior to John's birth, baby Nana's meteor destroyed a bakery owned by Betty Crocker. Nana was adopted by Crocker's husband, Colonel Sassacre, and taken to live in his mansion. 8 days later, Grandpa's meteor destroyed the doghouse belonging to Sassacre's dog, Haley. Haley was elsewhere and was
Hang on.
unharmed.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Was a Frog Temple lab, he would see more young Nana and Grandpa's story. 4/13/1910, exactly 99 years prior to John's birth. Baby Nana's meteor destroyed a bakery owned by Betty Crocker. Nana was adopted by Crocker's husband, Colonel Sassacre, and taken to live in his mansion. 8 days later, Grandpa's meteor destroyed the doghouse belonging to Sassacre's dog. Hey, okay, sorry, continue. I was just reading that again for, like, reading comprehension, you know?
All good, all good. Sorry if I'm butchering, like, the pronunciation and, like...
No, you're pronouncing everything
tonality.
fine, it's just this shit's fucking complicated. And
Also,
a clear, concise timeline is being very helpful for me, my like my understanding of the story right now. This is all, these recaps are very helpful for me.
I saw that Recursive was suggesting skipping it, but now,
Yeah,
I don't know.
this is way too helpful for me. I don't want to skip these recaps.
Alright. Okay, sorry. Right, Harley,
Dog Haley.
Haley was elsewhere and was unharmed. When Sassacre and Nana went to investigate the crater, Sassacre was shot and killed accidentally with one of Grandpa's pistols. Haley then showed up, who young Grandpa would tend to pronounce Harley due to his speech impediment, and would largely serve as their guardian for the next 13 years, with presumably some parental influence from the wicked Crocker. On his 13th birthday, Grandpa would run off with Harley to find adventure. Nana would stay behind, content with the Batter Witch, and master the art of baking, as well as take up her deceased grandfather's tradition of pranksterism.
Why are you suggesting we skip this? Does he drop an inappropriate word in this one or something? What's the reason we should skip this recap?
Well, while Recursive explains this reason, I'm actually gonna run and drink something because my voice is dying.
Sure.
I'll be back.
Alright, I'll start reading where you left off.
I might need a recap too.
Okay, yeah, I'll wait for you then. You go get your water. Yeah, is there like a really big important reason that we should skip this? You cannot say? What? Because, like, for me, this is very helpful, because, like I said, the timey-wimey stuff has been confusing, so getting it all broken down in a more concise manner like this is helping my brain understand it. That mixed with the long break we were on, because, like, this is a day after the last recording session, those you're watching on YouTube, which that recording session was coming back from the longest break Homestuck has been on, because we had a lot of stuff going on in our personal lives.
Alright, I'm here. Hi.
Okay. So Harley was locked?
Okay.
It's nothing
Harley.
bad, don't worry, is why they're saying we should have skipped it. So I'm like, whoa, then
Okay.
why should we skip it? Why? I guess we'll
see.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll see.
Holly was locked onto by the Frog Temple's equipment. Dee Dee activated the device and produced a Paradox clone of Harley combined with the controversial Meow code to create Puppy Beck. The spectacle terrified
Okay.
AR, leaving a major impression on him. He would he would recognize Beck's silhouette carved on Vivi's pumpkin years later. The pumpkin commanded his fear and caused him to surrender. Meanwhile, the grown-up version of Mom and Dad were on board a flying battleship belonging to Grandpa, who piloted towards Skaya.
Oh,
Dad
hey, real quick, Chris. I was just confused as to why you were telling us to skip, but I was like, I guess we'll just find out if it's nothing bad. Sorry, I was answering questions for chat.
All good.
Continue.
Meanwhile, the grown-up version of Mom and Dad were on board a flying battleship belonging to Grandpa, who piloted towards Skaya. Dad gave Mom her long-discarded scarf from the day he lost his mother and found his son. The two guardians traded gestures of affection. Jade remained asleep through it all, trying to stay on the moon as long as she could until she figured out how to wake John up. She talked about this with Adios Toreador, who revealed he preferred his dream life on Prospect more than any aspect of the game, and regretted all the trolls' dream selves were now dead. Jade expressed surprise at the notion of dream self-mortality. After Jack used the full power of the ring to devastate the battlefield and the two armies, he turned his attention on Prospect, inflicting severe damage the same way. He then cut the chain connecting the moon to Prospect, sending the moon plummeting through the atmosphere of Skaya and breaking up in the process. Dream John, still asleep, fell out his tower and drifted down ahead of the falling moon. Dream Jade flew to intercept him and spent a moment attempting to wake him before the moon's collision was imminent. At the last minute, she flung Dream John out the blast radius, but was not able to clear the blast herself. She died.
Very sad. Saddest thing that's happened in Homestuck yet. Sadder than the entire destruction of Earth.
The blast left a massive crater on the battlefield. This was the first thing Dream John saw when he woke up. The death of Dream Jade caused her Dreambot to malfunction and explode, destroying her room. Still asleep, Jade fell from her tower as Beck watched from a distance, and an enormous meteor loomed overhead. Elsewhere, on Dave's world Lohack, Bro dueled with Jack briefly. It was a stalemate, until Bro plunged his sword into the large floating record platform they were fighting on. This released a mysterious energy from the cracks. Bro escaped. Rose completed her final GameFAQs walkthrough entry and used magic to seal it in a server in the furthest ring to be accessed by players in worlds beyond their own. She had destroyed her first gate on a whim and resolved the search for answers to remedy hopelessness of their doomed session. Meanwhile, Dave entered his first gate, riding into it with his awesome skateboard Unreal Air.
So, she destroyed her first gate, but the first gate just warps you elsewhere on the planet you're in, so all is not necessarily lost yet. She just needs to find where the gate would have taken her.
I suppose.
Also, I like that the skateboard is called Unreal Air.
Same. Dope. The four exiles arrived on Earth years after its apocalypse, but years before they found their respective command stations. WV wrapped himself in John's dream blanket, which became dirty and unrecognizable over time. He found it along with a Jack-like doll on the battlefield, which formerly sat in Dream John's bedroom, haunting his dreams. WV ripped it apart. PM wrapped herself in a Prospect banner, which too faded in time. AR wrapped himself in caution tape, using his own supply, as well as some fresh rolls he was lucky enough to discover near the ruined frog temple in one of Grandpa's old crates. This was after he escaped the same temple in the medium and found the meteor lab in which John slept. That meteor then took off for Skaya via the Reckoning. AR taped John to the rocket board and cast him off before the meteor went through a portal. Thus AR became exiled. WQ exiled herself in an entourage of royal cruisers and landed on Earth. She departed on a solo quest, leaving her people to their own devices. She discovered her command station, a large egg, broken in two pieces in a large crater made by Dave's split meteor. She used a key to repair the egg station and teleported to the present location of the exiles. The Frog Ruins at night, 413 years after the apocalypse on Earth.
Egg. Sorry, chat said egg. I had to. The searing egg.
The searing egg? John saw a vision in a cloud directing him where to go. It was a castle where he would rendezvous with PM. PM, after beheading HB, used his radio to summon Jack. He came. Oh! And she traded the 2 white crowns for the green box, Jade's present to John. He appeared pleased to uphold the bargain, either out of a misunderstanding that he was still under control of its contents, or out of respect for PM's tenacity and brutality in pursuing the prize. Only he knows. PM delivered the package to John and then left, not thrilled by the trials caused by its recovery. John opened it to find letters from Jade and her pen pal, who helped her make the present for him over several years. The gift was the pen pal's idea, and he himself was coerced into the plan by someone else. The box contained a modified version of the stuffed bunny John had received for his birthday twice already. It was the same knit-repaired bunny John sent back in time with baby Jade, and she presumably kept it as a cherished childhood toy ever since. It was now upgraded with mechanical parts, fully mobile and autonomous. It was also included with 4 powerful weapons: the Royal Derringer, broken sword, the Quills of Echidna, wands, Ahab's crosshairs, rifle, and the Warhammer of Silihu, hammer. Each was shrunken down to be bunny-sized. As John mourned Jade's death over her letter, he was interrupted by Jack's sword. Jack was after the ring, but the heavily armed mechanical bunny intervened, recognizing John as its new master. Jack, knowing the danger of the toy, was forced to retreat. Finally, a cloud showed John what he was supposed to do with the ring. It was held by a mysterious black hand. In the far future on Earth, the exiles gathered around Exile Town. WQSWV for something. WV revealed he had been storing the complete quad prototype ring in the sleeve of his trusty knife. It had been there all along, much to Serenity's surprise. And then I started working on Act 5.
Well, that's an episode of Homestuck. Give me a second. So now we're gonna go on to viewer comment highlights. Man, that recap was very helpful for me. Also, I don't understand why you were telling us to ignore the recap. Act 5? That's why? Cause it's Act 5?
No, Recursive was the one saying
no,
not
you're
to
right.
read it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that being said, Bri, my little sweet Bri.
What?
I think I don't have it in me to read all these comments right now.
What?
Do you think you can read them?
Fine.
Listen, you sat here for 30 minutes. You can at least do the comment section.
Making me do all the work. It's good we're recursive. Alright, so the first comment is from 14 minutes in. Or 14 seconds in. So, this is like another quote from the Homestuck book, page 211. Their conversation here, they're touching on... Oh, hold on, Hold on. Fuck.
Are you having trouble with the lead speech?
I'm switching from the thing I had sent you to looking at the actual comment directly, because I can read the actual comment more directly more easily than what I had sent you. How dare you call me lazy? I work hard on this channel, damn it. Alright, then we get to the comments so we can do the comment highlight.
Comments, here we go.
I love you. Can you see why I love this person? I'm going to kiss you. Alright, here we go. I can actually read it better on here.
Alright.
Yeah, as I said, 14 seconds. So this is from the Homestuck book. Their conversation... Hang on, I'm gonna sit up a little bit.
Oh my god, not even ready to read? You thought you could lay back for a whole episode? Nuh-uh.
The conversation here, they're touching on what happens to Doomed Rose's consciousness when Dave goes back and alters the timeline, implying there could be some persistence between the versions of her and the version from the offshoot timeline he will create. They are just speculating here, but it's not an accurate conception, or it's a not inaccurate conception. Sorry, for context, the person who typed this comment, they mentioned it previously, their A key is broken, so they use 4s for A's, so words with A's sort of throw me off a little. Conception of how paradox space works. Hang on, I just want my mic more. And the tenuous partitions between the minds and memories of many recollections of of alt self experience. But there are ways that those partitions can break down, become porous, or result in multiple selves merging together. The story explores this idea from a lot of different angles, right up until the end. What is self is a real long-running thematic riddle for you to chew on. If you haven't started already, you should probably start chewing now. I've always been of the mentality that we are our memories and our thoughts. This is just me commenting on that thing. So if a piece of your memory is persistent and carried forward, you are carried forward. That's why I view, for example, us copying our brain into an AI is essentially the same as us cloning ourselves. But us creating a genetic clone that doesn't carry our memories is less like us making another us and more like us having a genetically identical child. We are our memories. We are the sack of meat inside the skull, not the stuff around that sack of meat. Or more so, we're the neurological pathways going through that sack of meat.
You know how I like to call it?
What?
The Flesh Gundam.
Flesh Gundam. This next part is commenting on 258. So let me get to that timestamp. Oh, actually, we're pretty much at it. Kind of like Epitaph erased how they sometimes switch perspective. Kind of like in Epitaph erased how they sometimes switch perspectives to a top-down view with characters represented in 4 Roll20 style, but with Homestuck style instead. Oh, I think they're commenting on something specifically we said. Let me go to the timestamp and listen to what Oldus said. 258. Like Teen Titans, when characters like get annoyed or something, or when they're being cutesy, they sometimes change art style. Oh, talking about how there's the switch in art styles, and they were comparing it to Epithet. Whatever that is.
Also, I'm good again. I can take over if you want me to.
Oh, okay. You want to take over?
I can, yeah.
I'm down for that. I am the lazy BF after all. What's the next timestamp?
Yep. 543.
543. You can go ahead and start reading while I get there.
Dave is talking about his future self showing up using the same tone as he would when telling his bro to hang on while he goes and answers the door because his pizza is here. The brand is airtight. At 9:23, another quote from the Homestuck book. They say, "Here is the first big test of friendship between these two solid lifelong pals. Do they, John and Dave, have another one after this brief crisis of bromanship? You know how you could find out. Just read the damn story. To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure why you even need me down here. Just kidding. These notes are why you brought the book. And I know you're hanging on each and every word I write down here. I'm here all night, folks." At 11:13, another quote. The face John is making seems to betray his true feelings about what he is currently doing. Duh, look at me. I'm John Ekdom, and I'm not listening to my best buddy's dire warnings. Duh. What's happening here? He really should turn around. I hope and pray that he does. At 12:09. Look how big future
Oh, sorry.
Mutini is.
Somebody's starting a motorcycle outside. Sorry if that's getting picked up.
Oh. Rumble, rumble.
I'll just mute myself.
Okay. 12:09. Look how big future Mutini is. What a cute detail. So good. Goes back to Hemingway's grave and dances some more. Arturo added, for context here, Hussey started doing an exceptionally flamboyant end zone dance on Hemingway's grave because of this first interaction between Dave and Dave Sprite that pretty much consisted of Dave, hey, Dave Sprite, sup. The best conversation he ever wrote, 10 out of 10. The next quote is on 1600. Doomed Dave, going back in time, accomplished 3 very important things. It created Dave Sprite, it prevented John from getting killed, and apparently has also triggered Rose's dream self to wake up. All these events are essential to the continuation of the Alpha timeline, which begins to suggest how complicated paradox space can get. Alpha timeline outcomes can depend entirely on the impact of events from doomed timelines. By the way, of time travelers going back in time and effectively sacrificing themselves to bring about necessary results.
Again, there's actually there's a like conspiracy theory type thing that I don't believe, but I like to believe, and it's perfect timeline theory. Time travel does exist, is actively happening, and we are in the perfect timeline that time travelers have created. And all of the awful things that you think, I'd go back in time and stop that, are the things that are left behind by, like, becoming a necessary evil, that the time travelers realize, like, hey, that thing there is awful, but it needs to happen to stop something worse from happening.
I need to step in that dog pool. If I don't, the world falls apart.
But when you look at the world through this point of view, you can genuinely find the good half of tragedy. Like, one example I can think of, if it weren't for World War II, I'm convinced the Cold War would have gone hot. World War II helped to create the UN, and the UN is one of the primary players that stopped the US and the Russians from nuking each other. That's just, like, one weird little example that you can view, like, sometimes, like, sometimes, like, as awful as the world is, an awful situation it could, in theory, have prevented a worse thing from happening.
Kind of fucking thing I expected you to say. Bring in, like, ooh, Jesus, oh, hot, okay. Alright, you get
sorry.
Go to the next.
Yeah, what's the next timestamp?
1850.
1850.
This one's a comment from Altura. Truly, GC's artistic journey is one of the most important plotline in Homestuck, right up there with Cantown.
We've been seeing it progress steadily.
At 1910. In hindsight, it seemed to me that GC's skill of manipulation mostly revolved around...
Wait, sorry, what was that, 1810?
1910.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
In hindsight, it seems that GC's skills of manipulation mostly revolve around...
You can't see the comments on... Okay, I'm not displaying the comments on screen, but if you're more so saying, like, I can't see the comment right now. Yeah, for some reason the comment isn't displaying underneath the video for people, and I can't figure out why. So, at the very least, all True Dragon Spirit's comment is being communicated via the video. So sorry, continue.
Manipulation mostly revolve around her ability to turn a dime and become unsettlingly flirtatious with just about anyone. It's kind of ridiculous how quickly she gets Dave to completely stop caring about the fact that she tried to kill John and turned Dave into a bird forever. 2149. We hadn't actually read Dave's birthday note to John before. Hussey withheld it until this very moment for dramatic effect and emotional payoff. It's this page again. How gratuitous. No way. It's important to see it again to set up the
Wait.
scene.
Is this the same timestamp?
No, it's 12:49.
Okay, you didn't tell me the new timestamp.
Did I
Wait,
not?
12:49?
21, sorry, German.
Oh no, yeah, okay, sorry, you did tell me the new timestamp. I'm dumb.
Oh.
Carry on.
A fun conceit during this earlier acts, when we were getting to know these four main characters and their relationship with each other, is that seeing the actual text of the birthday notes to each other is always saved for moments when they seem necessary to reveal some particular aspect of their friendship. John, at this juncture, needs a little reminder that Dave is a good friend, and according to me, I suppose so do we. Arturo says, perfect segue, high five selves.
I'm guessing we made a really good segue joke.
At 26:20. The first four lines, CG says here, literally sound like they could be a disgruntled Homestuck fan talking smack to me as they scan backwards through the story. Which sounds like a funny thing.
I keep scrolling backwards through your adventure, trying to piece together how you botched this up is so badly, and I keep finding these striking pockets of foolishness, like what you're doing now, riding your little red rocket, like you're a freshly hatched human larva, and this is just all a big something. It's a little fuzzy in the... Hang on, let me turn up the video quality. Oh, this is when I was still exporting at 480 because of, OBS updated and stopped recording my videos in high quality, and I didn't realize for like a good month.
Oh my god, Brian!
Yeah, well, no, these are old recordings. It's been sorted since then.
Okay, good.
Sorry, continue though. At least I think it's been sorted.
It sounds like a funny thing for me to say, and it is, but it's also not that remarkable, since at any given moment, Homestuck is full of surrogates and for various factions and the readership. Basically, any character who is viewing the actions of other characters on a screen can be seen as a consumer of that story through some form in canon digital media, whether they type in character commands like the Exiles or use Trollian to skip around the archive in a non-linear way like the trolls do, for the sake of adventure analysis, or to heap scorn on those involved. Every narrative viewing character is temporarily filling the role of the Homestuck reader from a certain angle.
That's a fun commentary on on consumership. Huh.
And the last comment is from 10 minutes later at 36:56.
36:56?
Yes. From my perspective, the great thing about this stupid backwards conversation was that anytime someone wanted to answer to an obvious question like, what's the point of the game? And I didn't think it was time to reveal that info, yet I could just have this jerk say, I already told you that! And justifiably be reluctant to repeat himself. But he would indulge in other details of lesser importance, like the material here about the veil. He hasn't mentioned that yet, so he can take some time to cover it now. It's a totally organic and logical way of concealing critical story information, and that it flows in order to at least critical to most critical. It is a fun way of handling it, honestly.
Yeah. So how much of this did Hussey have planned in advance?
I don't know. It sounds like he had a lot of it planned, honestly.
Yeah. So what's next?
That was the last comment.
Oh, that was the end of okay. That was the end of the comment highlights. Woo!
Yeah.
So, that's been an episode of Homestuck. How much do you have planned? Let's say like a third. Recursive says. Honestly, that sounds about right to my writing style, so I believe it. Listen, I know where a story starts, where it ends, and some random bullet points in the middle. I figure out the rest as I go.
See, here's the fun part. I have the beginning and the end and some points in the middle, but I never go because I don't know the rest.
Oh no, audio troubles? I'm sorry. But,
No.
Anyway, those of you who are watching the YouTube upload of this, be sure to come back later for more of My GF Makes Me Read Homestuck. We will continue on into Act 5.
Act 5.
Oh. But yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed.
Thank you all for joining.